What's going on, simmers and watchers? This is Captain Gonzo back here with That Flight Sim channel. And as you can see, we're back in DA42 from Cows. As for those of you who have been watching our channel lately, we've been dedicating some time to this beautiful aircraft. It's such a fun plane to fly, and this is going to be the climb to cruise and maneuvers tutorial. But anyways, as you can see, we are here in beautiful Indiana, continuing on this part of the series. We took off from Indianapolis Executive Airport, that is Tango Yankee, Quebec, for those of you interested. Anyways, for today, we'll be climbing up to a cruise level of 8,000 feet, as we can see here on the PFD. Now, check it out, guys. I'm going to make a quick plug here. Captain Flacco just released a good video last night on how to maneuver and how to handle the autopilot functions here through the G1000. And let me tell you guys, it's very, very useful, a very resourceful video, and you can find it here on this link that is going to pop up in the video. Once again, that was Captain Flacco running us through a series of autopilot settings and how to maneuver and how to get to nearest airport. So definitely check that video out. Feel free to bounce between this video and that one to reference the autopilot functions. I will not be covering too much of the autopilot, because once we get to 8,000 feet, I'm going to take over and put us through a series of stalls and spins. Nah, just kidding. I'm just going to be doing some regular turns and stuff like that, and hopefully I don't get myself sick. But anyways, guys, let me show you something real quick. So this is on the documentation of the aircraft that's included. And as you can see, this is the cruise performance chart that I'm going to be referencing. So to start with, what is ISA? ISA is the ICAO standard atmosphere. And it's pretty much telling you that, okay, at 299 or 2, which is your standard altimeter pressure, the temperature that is considered ISA, or the standard, is about 15 degrees Celsius or 59 degrees Fahrenheit. Now what happens is, as you start to climb, every 1,000 feet or so that you climb from sea level, you are going to drop temperature, or the temperature is expected to drop about 2 degrees Celsius or 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So today in the sim, we are at a temperature of about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, so a little warm, not too crazy, not too bad. Aircraft is behaving pretty well. And what I've highlighted here is our target cruise altitude of 8,000 feet. And in this case, when we reach 8,000 feet, our temperature is going to come down from 85 degrees to, I believe, 58 degrees, if my math was right. Yep, 57 degrees. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to reference this chart right here, the ISA plus 20. Because remember, standard temperature is 59 degrees, and we are at 85 degrees. So we're looking at about, yeah, somewhere in the 20-something to 30 range, but I feel like this will be a good chart right here, and what I'm going to reach for a good target of power setting will be right here. We'll be setting power back to 60%, and we should see a fuel flow of about 10.3 gallons an hour. And we should be cruising around 150 knots, give or take, true airspeed. So we'll definitely keep an eye on our airspeed indicator here, and you can even see your true airspeed located just below. And look at that, voila, outside air temperature, OAT on the PFD, is showing 16 degrees Celsius, and we're just shy of 1,000 feet from reaching our target altitude. So once again, going off the documentation provided from Cows, directly from the manufacturer, 8,000 feet, 60 power setting, percentage-wise. We should look for a target of 10.3 gallons an hour, and somewhere in the 150 knots. Now, keep in mind, your wind and your direction and all that, it's going to obviously have some effect on that. But anyways, let's go ahead and unpause the video, and let's get up there to 8,000 feet. So here she goes. Now, just to reference from Flacco's video, right now what we've done is engage the autopilot, which is right here on the MFD. We've gone ahead and enabled our yaw damper. Our flight director is on. And as you can see, the roll setting is set on, which means that the aircraft is going to maintain wings level as we climb up to 8,000 feet. Now, if you wanted to make a turn, you would just obviously go here and press the heading mode, wherein your heading bug through the heading knob would determine where the aircraft is turned to. But anyways, we're going to keep it just nice and level here as we level off at 8,000 feet. There's 8,000 feet, so let's go ahead and bring that power back down to 60%. Now, keep it right here, boys and girls. Load percent. Let's start dropping the throttles back down. There we go. And we're cruising nice and steady at 8,000 feet at 60% load or power setting. RPM is in the green. 1970 on the left, 1960 on the right. Beautiful. And check that out, guys. Look at our fuel flow. 5.2 plus 5.2. That puts us at about 10.4 gallons per hour. And wouldn't you look at that? 10.3 was the target. 10.4. I call that close enough. So we'll go ahead and leave it here, and let's see where that airspeed stabilizes at. Again, we were looking at an airspeed of about 153 knots, I believe. 150. Okay. And look at that, guys. True airspeed right now is about 155, so we're tracking along just nicely. Winds today are coming out of the southeast, and we're actually facing into the wind right now, relatively speaking. So not too bad performance for an aircraft like that, facing headwinds of about 20 knots right now, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go ahead and check out our winds. Yep, there we go. As you can see, I did that by going here to the PFD, going to the wind mode, and you can see right here, we've got a headwind directly about 9 knots, and we've got a crosswind of about 13 knots, so not too bad for performance. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to enable heading mode. And let's go ahead and roll this aircraft. Let's go west, see what happens to those winds, and see what happens to our airspeed. So we'll look for a heading of 270, which is pretty much due west. And we should see that airspeed start climbing shortly there. Again, I'm not touching the power. Power is set right there. We're going to keep it at 60%. All engine instruments check out fine. Good oil temperature, good oil pressure on the left and right, cooling temperatures in the green, fuel temperature is good, and we've got about 20 gallons of fuel. And look how efficient this aircraft operates, guys. I'm a huge fan of this for multi-engine purposes. This is a great aircraft to be flying throughout for cross countries and stuff like that, and I guarantee you, you'll get better performance than most single-engine aircraft. Okay, so it looks like our headwind here increased a little bit, so let's go ahead and keep turning a little bit. Let's go north. Guys, and I apologize if I sound a little nasally, if you hear some intermittent coughing. The allergy season here in Florida is horrible, and you can definitely hear it in my voice. I sound a little nasally, so I apologize for that. Just hang on with me here, we'll have some fun. Wow, would you look at that? Transponder to standby. That is not good. I'd definitely be talking to somebody today when I landed. That is not good. Alright, there we go. Squawking VFR. We're in altitude reporting mode. Now we're back. We're good. And look at that, guys. Way better wind conditions up here at 8,000 feet. We got a nice little boost to 12 knots with a little bit of a crosswind of 11 knots. So not too shabby. But anyways, guys, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. And my goal for this video is to show you how the aircraft handles. And my job is to maintain 8,000 feet. For those of you that don't know, in real world, when you're doing your check ride, for whether it's your private pilot, your commercial instrument rating, you have certain parameters that you have to maintain. So for example, when I was going through my private pilot check ride, my examiner told me, per the standards found in the private pilot standards, that as I began to turn, whether that was north, south, east, west, whatever, I could not deviate more than plus or minus 200 feet. So I'm going to hold myself to that standard, and I'm going to go ahead and disengage the autopilot. And again, referencing Flacco's video, you can always press the Z key, that is Zulu, on your keyboard, and the autopilot should come off. You can also just go here and manually disengage the autopilot. Or, as of right now, like me, I've got the Honeycomb Alpha and Bravo series, yoke and throttle quadrant. I have a button already mapped, so let's go ahead and take over the aircraft. Okay, there's the audible alert letting me know, hey, autopilot is off, as you can see here on the PFD. And now we're back to my controls. And again, guys, we're going to maintain 60% power for this cruise, because we're going to be doing a series of turns. So let's see how she does. And let me remove that flight director. I don't need it right now. There we go. We got a clean PFD. So we're going to go ahead and start a turn to the west here. Just a 90-degree turn from heading of 360 to 270. And let's see how she does. And remember, guys, once you initiate a bank angle to begin a turn, that nose is going to want to drop on you due to the increased load on the airframe. So you want to maintain a bit pitch up, and you can trim a little bit. And as you can see, our flight path marker here is just on the horizon line. That's our target right there, and you don't want to see any vertical speed indication. So there, I'm climbing at about 100 feet per minute, so let me just drop a little bit of pitch. And we'll continue this turn going to 180. And look at that, guys. She handles beautifully. Really not much to it, honestly. We'll begin leveling off here at 180. And again, keep an eye out on that altitude, guys. So I just went up about 100 feet in that turn. Let's go ahead and bring that nose back down a little bit and try to level off at 8,000 here. Alright. We're here at 8,000 feet, holding 180 degrees. Let's go ahead and do a 180 back north, and this time we'll make a right bank. There we go. Let's get that nose up a little more. There we go. And as you can see, guys, on the PFD here, that little caret at the top, that's going to indicate your bank angle. At this point, we're just maintaining a standard rate of turn of about 30 degrees. And you can see that little white line underneath the caret. That is your turn and slip coordinator. So that's going to let you know if your nose needs a little bit more yaw input from your rudder pedals. In this case, I need to give it a little bit, neutralize the rudders a little bit. Let me go. And there we have it, guys, on a north heading of 360, still maintaining about 8,000 feet. Dropped a little bit there, almost 1,000 or 100 feet. So let me get that nose up a little bit. And again, guys, check it out. I've maintained power at 60%, and look at our airspeed. We're still maintaining a decent, healthy airspeed for cruise performance. And again, that fuel flow, still showing about 10.4 total, 5.2 on each engine. That's beautiful. That's great. There we have it, guys. That's a pretty good demonstration of what the aircraft can do. Again, this is more so a demonstration more than a tutorial. And again, if you really need to brush up on your G1000 skills, particularly for this aircraft, check out Captain Flacco's tutorial, which runs you through heading mode, flight level change, vertical speed, and nears airport functions that are very, very useful for those cross countries and VFR flights. Now, for the next part of this video, what I'll be focusing on is on the descent and the approach back into Indianapolis Executive, which, as you can see here on our MFD, is just off to about our 1 o'clock. I'd say maybe about 4 miles exactly right now. So what I'm going to do is extend this video, or excuse me, I'm going to go on the next part of this video, and I'm going to extend a little bit far, heading north past the airport, and we'll begin a descent into the airport and through the approach and see how it goes. So once again, guys, Captain Gonzo here with That Flight Sim channel. Stay tuned for the next series, or the next part of the series, and we'll pick back up then.